Okay, so I was sitting, listening to something, thinking, and this thought popped in my head, and it kind of piggybacks off of the Earth is way, way huger than it really is idea that I posted before this for in a Weed Talk. At the end of that, I was just speculating if all that is true, and I just want to let you guys know, just because I say a lot of this stuff doesn't mean I automatically completely believe in all this stuff. I love thought and thinking of new things and now that's use your discernment what I really believe because some of the stuff I say and talk about I absolutely believe. But some of the stuff, you know, maybe not. I haven't decided yet. It's interesting to think about, and that is enough for me because there's not much interesting stuff left in the world these days. Oh. Anyway, what was I doing? Oh yeah, so the Earth is way bigger. Talk that I had than it is, and we're just in a kind of a portion of the huge Earth that's kind of isolated, and we've been fooled using perspective and thought because of the nature of belief and the physical structure of the true Earth and the natural isolation that we're in. It just all works perfectly. The size ratios are huge to make this perspective work. But anyway, at the end of that conversation, I was like, what? I was just speculating, why would they want to do that? And then at the very end, I was like, maybe it's like a game and they needed a playing field. So I was thinking, this new thought I was thinking, piggybacked off of that. I was thinking about D&D and it kind of merged together with what if like all the beings that are into this kind of thing, all the beings, like, I mean, no matter if you're a fruit fly, a squirrel, monkey, an elephant, or human, or extraterrestrial, anyone who's into this true Earth existence, we're all down here. Life is grand, right? Everything's perfect. Just doing whatever we're doing. I mean, nothing new's really happening, but everything's in harmony and we're having a grand time. You know, doing the things we like. But then we have a new idea. You know, we're a little bored. Let's have a big, huge playing field. A huge playing field. I mean, huge. We'll dedicate a large portion of our Earth to it. I mean, it's going to be not huge compared to our Earth, but huge in sense of just size. And we got the perfect place. There's these 7 islands. This area pretty much surrounded by water on all sides. In this lower portion of our planet, and it's pretty isolated naturally by this ice ring that's around it. And we'll go down there. We'll cut all the trees down. You know, let them get all petrified so they look like mountains and shit. And we'll get rid of all the fucking natural, normal inhabitants and clear it all out. Clear it all out. Plant different species of trees, a smaller version that will flourish in this isolated environment. And we will populate it with beings, all sorts, all kinds. And we, on the outside of this ice ring, can turn on our PlayStation 20, our Xbox fucking Quantum 3000, whatever those would be, and we can get born into. There'll be rules. Maybe every planet has their own games going on like this. There'll be rules. You can't just get in there normally. You have to be born into it, and you have to be, because it's a game that we would like. You know what I mean? To do, and there'll be lore and history, and you build your character like D&D. You build your character. The only way you can get into this Ice Ring game, and It'll be using the real physical stuff of real existence to play this game. So it'll be the realist, and we transport your consciousness at some point of conception or some point, small age as you're in it, but you're forced to go through as many lifetimes as you can go through in this isolated area. I don't know if it will be a portion of your consciousness that's dedicated to this, and you're still out living your life in the true sized Earth, the huge Earth, and then maybe you can lock into full consciousness when you're done doing whatever. Either way, or it's full consciousness all the time. You slip it on like a VR headset or something like that, and then boom, you get born as whatever, Antoine. You know, that's just this lifetime. It could be anything, but you got to go through as many lifetimes as it takes to figure out that this is what's going on. And then, and so you'll get thrown into this world as your belief changes. You get thrown because the belief is a big factor of even being able to make this illusion possible. And then we're not talking about the illusion of existence itself, the moving image of eternity that is borderless. We're not talking about that. This is a game within that game where we're living on a huge Earth. Because, past that, all this doesn't exist. None of this matters. And we're isolated, and we're transporting our consciousness to these things. So we can have war and brutality and everything that we don't do. We're too classy. We don't do that stuff on the real Earth. Set aside however many square miles our Earth is. Set aside that somewhere else. And if you're into that, all right, well, go down there and do it. That's what they're into down there. They're playing some kind of crazy game with belief and something. Get on, go play the mini Earth. Go down on mini Earth. Oh, and so then you start being aware of this and realizing your power, and realizing maybe like there could be like lore behind your character, and like just like D&D, you've been building him up for so long. You have all these abilities that are coming that you're supposed to have, and everyone's kind of doing the same thing, but on a level. So you could just be a plain old backdrop, which would be like an NPC, and they're still real, existing beings on the true Earth that are putting their conscience in, or maybe they would have to be. So many things to work out, and it's just a big elaborate game that we're playing. But you're supposed to not know about it for a certain period of time. And then how would that tie in us going into a new Earth? If the true Earth is always there, it's way huge, and our new Earth is really just this portion of the true Earth. It would be like maybe a software upgrade, maybe. Something like that. When the beliefs of a whole, the whole 8 billion, 4 billion, 6 billion, 13 billion, whatever you believe there are people on reaches a crescendo over passing the tipping point for more positivity, and we raise up. And so things are changing, corruption is falling, and this is all within the ice wall, though. There's no corruption outside. Those have been fixed for years. But we're so bored we like to play corruption, you know what I mean? And we're just playing lots of crazy shit that's going on. Why? Lots of all the corporations and how people come into power and try to take control of the whole thing. Because who can become king of the ice ring? You know what I mean? If it's just a game and we're all outside of it on the true Earth. Ha! The Earth that's huge. I'm guessing the size would have to be, man. Imagine the Earth as a basketball. The true Earth, the huge Earth that no one knows about. Oh, well, some people don't know about. Say that's the size of a basketball. This ice ring. Are all our 7 continents and the oceans around them that we believe are wrapped around into a globe where the ice ring would coil itself down into the bottom as Antarctica. But really, that's not what it is. We unwrap that, and it's just a portion. I would think the basketball would be so big, the true Earth, and that would be the size of maybe like a quarter on the basketball. Slap a quarter on the basketball, then merge that quarter into the basketball so there's no lip when you fill over, right? Now, so you can see how big the true Earth is. So that's a vast distance. So you have And then you would have, in that quarter, you would have Africa and Asia and all of our stuff in that little quarter size thing. And then the New Earth is the basketball, that little ice ring around that quarter. And then who knows what the geography of the rest of the New Earth is. This just happens to be the gaming zone that we have. And it would seem almost like it's flat. You know how Earth seems like it's flat when you're sitting there, just because it works both ways. The illusionary globe I was just talking about, it's still big enough to where it would seem like it's flat when you're standing on it. And then the real Earth is even bigger. So it still would seem the same way. And they got it at the point where it's hard to determine the difference from our perspective. If that makes sense. It makes sense completely to me. If this would be the case. And that's how I could just see how it would work. Now, all the stars and everything and how they turn and everything, that's cool to think about, because now also it could be not this the true Earth I'm saying that's just bigger. It might not even be a globe, or I'm thinking it's a globe. It could just be infinite flat plane. But who knows? I'm thinking it's just a huge huge Earth, and then a little quarter-sized part of it. Yeah. So it'd be spinning the shit through space, and we would have that quarter-sized spot. That would be our view of space. We're on the huge Earth as we're going through, however it is, and we have some way to. It just happens. All the stars you see is the correlation of what the spin would be on the real Earth. We don't have that to compare it, so we just think that's just what it is for us. That's all we know. And you would have to have enough portion of the reality to actually get up out of space high enough to see the truth, or we all hop on a fucking giant airship and go fly over to Antarctica together, and that would instantly change the belief of everybody and anyone left on the planet. It would start to unravel. But that never happens. So we always have a manufactured kind of belief clutch, or like capacitor, just holds the belief of this globed Earth because it works so well. The trick is so good. And they know the nature of beliefs. Now, keep in mind, it's just to make this game work and be real, because we want the game to be real. I'm a gamer, right? And we like, now not all games, because some games you don't want to be real, but if it's like an RPG or like a DayZ or something like that, or you want it to be right. Some of us on a hardcore game, One Life, I forget the name is for that. Imagine like a game like Dark Souls, some of those games with only one life and one hit point or something. I'm sure it's out there, but we like to do that. So this is kind of what we're doing. You get into this ice ring. You don't know what's going on. You stay down there until you figure it out. Until you grow your consciousness from complete unawareness to what's really going on. And what if it's a kind of thing whereas whatever consciousness you grow out of it is what obviously starts to blossom in for your reality. So everyone's blossoming different things. The people that believe the ice wall, the people that believe this, we're all blossoming our own realities that are growing independently, separately, but somehow we can share them in this shared realm. And that would be completely separate of the huge Earth and the ice wall theory. That would encompass all that there. Huh. Yeah, that's what I think. It's either a game or some kind of prison. They keep all the consciences down here that are still kind of violent or unknowing of who they are, or whatever kind of consciousness that would need to be contained. I don't know. It seems even less likely. I like the idea of just a fucking game. This game within a game. So we are on this huge Earth, and we're playing this game in this quarter-sized section of the Earth. And then if you take this huge Earth, where consciousness is, the moving infinite eternity, which is borderless, just morphing sound and vibration and color, whatever vibration, playing the game of the true Earth, of beings playing the game of the quarter-sized Earth in the ice ring, and then us in there are playing video games on the PS5, and then in that video game we could be playing a video game. Say like I don't know, I know they're out there where you can play video game in a video game. I don't know if it goes any further than that, but yeah, hell, they're making real computers in Minecraft. So what the fuck? And it just keeps going, keeps going, and keeps going. It never ends. That's the hard part to think about. That would never end. It would keep going. It's just your ability to perceive it ends. Kind of like the sound goes out and you can't hear it anymore, or going over the horizon, wake end of the ship smoothing out. I just got a complete blank of what I was even talking about. I know the whole thing, but so interesting of what is going on here. Now that we're seeing all this cover-ups that are so blatantly easily seen now, it's because the internet. Whoever let the internet become massively Terrence McKenna was saying this. The people who want power and control, if they knew what the internet was, they would have never let it get out into everyone's hands. Because now everyone can just talk to each other. And it's really changed. Internet is one of the important changes of this planet's existence, for humans anyway. It's making all this it's just everything has to fall away. You can't hide it anymore. All this shit, everyone's coming clean about aliens, and it happens at such a point where people don't even care anymore because shit's so crazy. It's like everyone's waiting for this for so long, and it's like finally happens. All this crazy shit is happening. Like no one even cares. It's like no, shit's even crazier. We're probably not even on a fucking globe, and then even if that's the case, it's the whole original case of what is the moving image of eternity. This borderless, aware, shape-shifting, radiating, anything-ing us. Well, maybe never know. Like teeth can't bite teeth, or one hand clap. Maybe we'll never know for sure. Or what we are is what we're doing at any moment. What we are, we're basically living what we are. And there's no reason to ask about it because it'd be trivial. It'd be redundant. Something like that. Maybe these are just ways out of finding the real answer. Maybe it's something, what I believe probably is something that no one's even thought of yet. Maybe something so simple. We take all these ideas about God, religions, the flat earth. My thing about the true size earth now, there's that one. Then there's the flat earth, which still has the ice ring idea, or flat plane with the ice ring idea, where there's different ice rings of, it's not really planets at all. There's that idea. Then there's a regular Earth idea. There's what the Earth just happens to be going around. And then there's that idea. All kind of things going on. All the corruption falling out. People still trying. Power still trying to use wars for leverage and distractions and all this stuff, but nothing's quite working the same. And I don't even really watch news or anything. I know this is going on. It has to be. I think there's going to be a vying for power, or there's going to be a quick void of some sort. But the only beings that are proper will be able to fill the void. But it's a natural physics kind of thing, kind of vibrational attraction, magnetic, electrical kind of thing. All right? So things are going to go crazy, or are going crazy. And then it'll settle out, but a new thing will come out of it. Kind of the obvious thing where we're all kind of be like slapping our heads like, why did this take us so long as humans to realize we're all just humans, either on the globe or not the globe. Let's take that out of it. And maybe that's what the game is for, to teach this. Didn't think of that. What the game is for. Maybe it's just for fun, or maybe it's to teach something, because consciousness isn't what we really think it is, and we have to have something to bend it in a different direction or something. That's just another thought. But to learn that we're all humans here, we don't need to be fighting each other, especially fighting each other over things probably most of the population don't really understand or care about, which we all know is true because we're all on the internet playing the same video games together, all countries all over the world watching the same funny shit, all loving the same shit, loving each other all through the internet. Of course, there's the bad stuff too, but I'm directing my focus here. And we all can see. Anyone with half a brain can see. We're all meant to be down here together, just having a beautiful existence down here. And all this other shit is either some kind of manipulation that's gone on too long, or because it's just a game in the ice ring, anything goes down here, and this is how it's supposed to be. What do you think? I don't know, man. I don't know. What do you think? What else is there important to think about? Because that's the things I'm thinking about right now. Now, there's the creating your own reality. Of course, on top of this, the human apparatus creates the existence that it is in and that you perceive and that it is. So is it really the human apparatus that's doing it? No, it's you are obviously the moving image of eternity that's creating all this. And this, you're just creating a perspective that you can, again, trick yourself, fractal, same way true Earth citizens are tricking themselves into the ice wall to play this game. True, formless, borderless experience, vibration, moving image of eternity, God, whatever, is tricking itself through a manufactured perception that lets itself forget who it is because it looks like I'm a person waving my hand around in space, in a bus, holding my phone, and it really looks and feels like this, but that is just what I'm morphing myself into and tricking myself by being born into it in such a way. But that falls away eventually, and you just see yourself as this blob of changing colors and shit that happens to be taking a form of the perspective of a human from inside the head. That's the form it's taking. It's taking the form of the perspective of a human inside the head. But that's you. That's you. There's no human. There's no inside. There's no outside. There's no all that. So that is the true truths that I think about. That is over everything, or under everything, or encompasses everything. No matter if it's an ice wall, if it's a real globe, if we're all just fucking gnats on an elephant's ass in Timbuktu somewhere, none of that matters. The true thing is that we're just a moving image that's borderless, that can kind of do anything. And I like the fractal idea of how we're tricking ourselves with a forced perspective. And maybe cycle durations and the way beliefs work and how the way momentum works, something like that. All that stuff together, and maybe other shit. Tricking ourselves the same way true Earth would be tricking ourselves. And maybe the same way into the ice ring. Then the ice ring inhabitants us would be tricking our perspective wearing a VR headset into a video game. And then blah, blah, blah. And there's the fact that everything that's ever happening is always going on now. There is no before, past, and future. Throw that in there. There's so much things to think about, and we're all thinking about it together. And I'm always coming through people on reels that are thinking the same thing I'm thinking, or close to it, or enough to where I'm listening, and I can spark new ideas and come up with new things, like the tree idea about the cutting of. That's why they cut the trees. And I also thought maybe the trees were so tall, because I told you. The basketball is the true sized Earth. It's huge. Quarter size ice ring. That's where our continents are on that Earth. But the huge trees of the real Earth were still all in there. And you could probably just climb them and see over the ice ring. I didn't even think about that, but I thought it would just seem weird. These huge ass trees almost going into space. It wouldn't make sense. So they had to come down for the illusion of our sized Earth. There was an original idea, but probably cut them down because there's 3 reasons they could come down. To feed the illusion for the ice ring game. 2 ways, because they could climb the trees or use them in some kind of way to force perspective over the ice wall. Or so that when they come down, they can fake them as mountains, and so the true size of the Earth can be hitting, and the global fake size of the Earth will seem real because all these smaller trees are there in ratio to that size. But the 3rd reason, if there was floods everywhere, they cut them down because, they want people to die, and they're going to be climbing these trees and saving themselves. But that's 3 reasons. Anyway, I'm going off. I just hit 444, 2444 right when I came on that conclusion, by the way. God, see, this is also still new to me when I do that. I'm like thinking in my head, I'm becoming one of those people that do that. But it's too late. I already am one. So, yes, 444 was the timing on the ending of that conclusion. And yes, it means something to me. But damn, I am one of those people. The transition was swift. Anyway, this was a long one. My longest weed talk yet. This is where a lot of my mind is. If I'm not thinking about moving image of eternity and what we truly are, I'm thinking about what this Earth game is and all that stuff. All the truly interesting and relevant stuff. I'm thinking about all the resets and about the Tartaria and all that stuff and all the interesting stuff that was hidden. It's all coming to the surface. What a fucking time to be alive. What a fucking time to be alive. I guess technically all the times are all going off at once, and I could say something like, I could have been live way sooner and not become privy to all this cool shit to think about. But someone being alive then is probably just getting just the right amount of experience for them. There's that to say there too, which off-railed what I was gonna say before that. Anyway, it's cool time to fucking be alive. All this information just coming out, and knowledge is power. Knowledge, your beliefs, create your reality. I said it years and years ago. I'm sure my friends thought I was going crazy, but there's already people who are on this stuff through listening to like talkers in the 80s, 1980s, and then before that, people were already onto this stuff forever. So it's not like it's new. I'm just kind of on the tip of the iceberg here, as anyone else living at this time, you know. The extensions of source energy, the moving image of eternity. Not really extensions, the clumps, the coagulations, the personas, the humans, the dense physical reality, and the seemingly not dense space, but really it's all the same. It's all the same one moving image, all going on right now, having this grand thing. This is the stuff I like to think about. And sometimes I think about it and it feels cool. And sometimes I get in the zone and think about it and I can just talk about it. It's cool when you meet someone else that says something maybe different than what you think, but in a way that's like, huh. And maybe it's completely different, but maybe it gives you an idea that bolsters your own thought about something that you never would have thought of. That's cool too. Anyway, 27 minutes at 4-4. 27-4-4 when I say that, and it was at 4-4-2-4-4-4 last time. I just decided I was gonna end it, just so you know. Just so you know. So four score something years ago, 7 years ago. Anyway, 28-4. End it.